we were talking to Jim about it, and he talked about how they're so solid with the four guys up front, and they make you be really, really patient. I'm just curious what you see, what they can do against the run, the pass. They have to blitz much to get after the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, they're extremely sound. They play hard. They're physical. You know, nothing's easy. They don't pressure a lot. They have the ability to pressure. They'll send 5. You know, they have some things where they can bring 6. They'll zero blitz you, but I mean, they just play really good, sound defense. They're well coached and they understand the scheme. And each guy seems to know what his responsibility and his job is. So, yeah, it's just going to be a tough challenge. It'll be an exciting game to go up there and challenge ourselves and see where we are. They're going against one of the top defenses in the country, right? They're playing really well.
Wisconsin's had 7 offensive line combinations now in all games this season, but the one that played on Saturday, it seems like has a lot of potential, especially for the stretch run. What did you see with that group, and what among those 5 in particular kind of stands out that can help this offense thrive?
Yeah, I think for me, the O-line is 5 guys trying to play as one. So the more we can get those 5 guys playing together, the more they communicate, the more you run certain run schemes, and they see the looks, they can communicate. But I think all 5 of those guys have some experience. You know, I think all of those guys have position flexibility, but health is a big part of it. I think those guys have kind of battled through some adversity that we don't talk about a lot, and they'll never make excuses. But just being healthy and being able to go out and play fast and play physical, which is our brand of football, it bodes well for us. Just getting healthy at the right times and just keeping those guys, intact. But, it's a good group of guys, and they did really well. We still got some things that we can clean up. Coaches always look at how we can improve. Give them credit. We ran the ball really well in some tough conditions versus a good defense. So that was big for us to help us get the win.
Why is Jim doing so well on third down to get open? Obviously, he and Grant have the connection.
Mm-hmm.
Grant's kind of looking for him, but just what is he doing to get open and find the spots in the zones and stuff?
I think number 1, he's playing really fast. He's playing confident in what we're asking him to do. Number 2, I think as you mature as a player, I think he understands defenses better. So he's seeing defenses, knowing off of leverage, based on safety rotation, what they want to do, and just post snap. You got to be in tune to what they're doing after the snap, because teams are going to make you adjust. They want to make the quarterback read after the ball snap. So I think, him with his experience, I think it's really helped him get better in those areas.
Speaking of receivers, Skyler Bell seems to be improving every week. What do you like about him, and where has he grown the most since you got here?
Good question. I like the fact that he's strong at the catch point. I really like him after the catch with the ball in his hands. And you've seen growth in every area, honestly. I think I said he was the most improved in the spring, one of the most improved, and he just consistently kept improving. But he's a guy who can run routes. He's got great feet. He's strong at the catch point, and he's got a really good upside. But I like everything about his game.
Bobby, what's your relationship with Bo, and how do you guys kind of come to a consensus on the rotations for the offensive line?
Our relationship with Bo?
Like, how have you guys kind of developed together in the run with the run game and all that?
I think it's just communicating, just formationally making sure we're balanced. What is he doing in the run game that marries play action? We just talk. We enjoy game planning, and he's really good at what he does, and we utilize the staff to come up with some schemes in the passing game that marry what we're doing. So just trying to make it a complementary run, pass, and just communicate, work together.
Back to Iowa's offense or defense for a second. I'm sorry. Do they make quarterbacks be patient? They kind of, because they don't give up a lot of big plays all the time.
Yeah, you can see that. I mean, it's sitting in zone defenses, being disciplined, and making you take what they give you at times. And so, yeah, I mean, we got to just go, for us, it's going through our read progressions, right? Trying to put Graham in situations where you want to attack what they do percentage-wise, situationally, and then guys have to go out and execute. And this is going to be an execution game, on both sides of the football. So we know that. Trying to be really detailed in how we practice, so we can practice fast and do what we do well and execute.
Do quarterbacks get in trouble if I was making you drive down the field in little chunks, or not big chunks but small? Do quarterbacks get in trouble if they press too much? If they try to make a play that maybe isn't there, and then Iowa gets you?
Well, I mean, I think that's with any team. I think and what they are is advantageous, right? If the ball is tipped or if the ball is overthrown, really good defenses usually make those plays, and they have made those plays. So we can't be passive, right? But we can't be reckless either. You know, I think there's a balance there. I was just watching the Iowa State game the other day. I think they had a 22-play drive and scored. So you can have those long extended drives. You just have to keep making good decisions.
There were a couple of times, Graham, third deep, in some tough conditions last week. Was that maybe a case of people just wanting to make a play because it had been kind of a tough game, or was that something you would kind of ask him, maybe try to push the ball down the field here?
No, I think that the read is the read. You know, we have alerts. We trust him to make the right decision. He thought it was a good matchup.
Bobby, we've seen Braylon get nicked up a couple times throughout the season. If you guys needed to bring in a third back, backing up Garundo, who would be the guy in that spot?
Right now, it's been Ship or Julius, right? Based on health. You know, I think Drew had a bit of an injury last week. So every week is a little bit different. You know, hopefully we can get Chaz back here soon, get him back in the mix. But, you know, right now it'll be one of those two guys based on what Coach Al see, where we're going with the game situationally. That may dictate who's the third guy. But we feel comfortable with both of those guys.
Looking at Chase back, whatnot. How has he looked in practice, and just what did you see from him working back from injury to where he is now being number 2 quarterback again?
Yeah, he's put in a lot of time and effort. Obviously, he's coming back from a pretty significant injury, but he's sharp mentally. He's a veteran guy who's been around the game, and he's pushing himself really hard in individual and in the limited reps that he's getting to be game ready. He's great in the classroom, and he's good for Graham, in terms of challenging him. And they ask questions. How are you seeing this coverage? And, what's our progression here? So it's been good to have him back out there. And just the balance is continuing to grow Miles, continuing to grow Marshall, and just keep the room progressing and growing. So I think we're trying to find that balance.
Bobby, what have you seen from Hayden Rucci in his development this year? Obviously, he's missed a couple of games, but when he's played, what have you kind of seen out there, and how has he progressed through the year?
Yeah, I think Coach Herring's done a good job with Hayden, and for me, tight ends like footwork, first step, second step, hand placement, being inside, pad level. I think he's just gotten better in every one of those areas, and the more he plays, I think the more you'll see him improve. But he's a big physical guy that takes pride in what he does, and sneaky good in the passing game as well.
What does Iowa do on special teams so well? I mean, obviously the punter, kickers are very good, but just coverage-wise, everything like that. What do they do that makes them such a good special teams unit?
Yeah, I haven't studied that.
Okay.
I think that's a question for Coach Melhall. Honestly, I know. I know they're one of the tops, but I haven't seen much of their special teams yet. I'll peek at them later in the week.
It feels like Graham's putting together his best year, but it also feels like he's just getting better at making throws on the run. What has kind of gone into kind of making those plays that he's kind of made multiple plays throughout the year?
I think drill work. I think doing it a lot, and it's him getting comfortable with the receivers. We do it in routes on air. We work him in individual. So I think he's always done pretty well at that. It's just an emphasis on we want to do it more. So he's attacked it.
With the fullbacks, with Jackson and Riley, I think Riley had one of the key blocks on one of the touchdown runs. But just how are the progressions with that unit? Where I know we've seen a lot of the extra linemen as tight ends, but look at the fullbacks exactly. Just how are they working into the offense more and more this season?
Yeah, I think they've been consistent. I think each game plan is a little different in terms of how you want to utilize 21 and 12 personnel. But Jackson's a young guy that's athletic and fast with good hands, and we like him, and he's just continuing to grow in his role as a blocker. Riley's a guy who's underrated. He's a backup fullback, but he can get you out of a sticky spot in tight end. As a move F-type tight end. He's really smart. So, we like those guys, and, they have to be ready to kind of be multiple, in this offense, and I think they both have embraced that.
Bobby.
If I remember correctly, Riley had to play tight end in the spring because you guys didn't have any help.
Yeah, he played all tight end.
Is there a carryover, from tight end to fullback much that he was able to bring with him?
There's some in terms of formation, in terms of motion, shifts, maybe some in terms of what we're asking him to do from a certain alignment, but when you're in the backfield, it's different than being on the line of scrimmage. So there's some carryover.
The reason I ask is because he had the block on Braylon's 9-yard touchdown with him, if I remember correctly. It's Braylon kind of kick out block.
Yes, he did on the left. Yeah, but that's, to me, one of the best things he does is he knows how to stick two blocks. He does a good job of hitting, but bringing his feet and being able to maintain contact, and that's big for a fullback.
You found your